Andy, as always, great to be with you. And let's get into it.
Let's do it. It's
so,
great to see you.
Like I said, the behemoth of the American sports, National Football League, we're months away from on the field action, but they've dominated the news cycle with the full release of the NFL schedule last week, including the news that there would be 2 games scheduled for Christmas Day. They will be aired live on Netflix. Andy, what do you make of NFL's move to take over Christmas as well as the move to the streaming platform?
I think the NFL could do anything they want. The Shield seems to always come up with a way to dominate everything. And like you said they dominated the news cycle with the release of the schedule. They dominate the news cycle with the draft. I mean, they took something as mundane as a draft, and now it is a spectacle. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally a spectacle. So I'm not surprised that they're trying to spread themselves throughout all media. I mean, literally, they are the kings of all media, like Howard Stern says. So I am not surprised. If I were the NBA, I'd be a little upset at them because the NBA seemed to have owned Christmas Day. They try to have some really good games on that day, but I don't know. You would think that. Do you think that their audiences overlap? I would think so, right?
I think so. I think, of course, there's that Venn diagram isn't a perfect circle, but right. I think they heavily overlap for sure.
Right. So I think the NBA is going to get hurt by that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, maybe what a brilliant move by Netflix to get some more subscribers, right?
I think it's one of those things where people these days have such short attention spans that people are going to be flipping back and forth from the NBA to the NFL all day. But I know what you're saying, and like you said about kind of spreading or casting a wide net across every facet of media. You look at the networks, the services that the NFL games will air on this season: Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, ABC, ESPN Plus, Peacock, Prime Video, Netflix, NFL Plus. So those are 10 different channels that you have to watch the NFL this season. Do you think it's possible the NFL is spreading itself a little bit, too thin maybe by, again, airing their product across a cable subscription worth of providers?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, but they seem to survive it. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't watch some Thursday night games because they were on Prime Video, just because I don't think I have that subscription. And so I think, and certainly I'm not in Peacock yet, or I don't know if it'll be on free, but, just talk about jumping back and forth to the channels. It's not so easy to jump between Netflix and live TV, unless you have 2 TVs,
sure,
which I bet a lot of people will do. Or they'll have their computers open and the TV going.
I think this is going to be great for, if you own a bar, I think this is going to be great because you can have, again, you got a bunch of TVs on. That might be the way to watch.
I will tell you from some of the bars that we have sold at Transworld that several of them do very, very well when those games are on streaming services.
Again, here on ESPN West Palm tonight with my guy, Andy Cagnetta, the CEO of Transworld Business Advisors. They have helped over 15,000 business owners maximize the value of their company. Learn more at tworld.com today. Andy, connecting this back to Transworld, and of course, Andy, I mentioned this before, you know a thing or two about unique markets, 250 offices worldwide. What are the challenges of balancing expansion with the risks of, again, spreading yourself a little bit too thin?
Yeah, I mean, the NFL's going to all different countries this year. I mean, I think you're watching the WNBA wanting to expand. I think you have to seize opportunity when you can. And, we see it all the time in Transworld when people are wanting to expand their businesses. When capital is cheap, which it's not right now, you have to take opportunity when you have it. So I think all those sports and all those, leagues are trying to take opportunity when they have it.
Speaking of new markets, you mentioned it, NFL continues to emphasize, prioritize international games. We've got 5 this year, 1 in Brazil, first time the NFL is entering South America, 2 in Germany, 2 in London. I'm a little bit surprised the NFL hasn't gone to Asia yet. Japan, China, the NBA has, you talk about the NBA being kind of taken over Christmas Day. The NBA has the Asian markets with the Asian players that they've had, but Do you think the NFL will explore, a Tokyo game, a Beijing, Shanghai in the coming years?
Yeah, I think they will. I think it's a little harder because of the time change.
Yes.
I mean, Tokyo's just is 13 hours or 12 hours. So it's a little tougher. But, Brazil, obviously same time zone as the East Coast. So I think that works very well. And, even in England, doing those morning games, I think worked out really well for them. They have the games on at 9:30 in the morning. Then you have it's been working great for them. So I think it's really great. It's great for tourism. I think you're seeing the fans of those teams take trips. I think it's been really good.
When you expand to new markets, you don't always see that immediate financial success. You got to kind of build that groundwork. The old Rome wasn't built in the day sort of thing. But outside of pure dollars and cents, what are the indicators of success in a new, unfamiliar market?
It's about money flow. I mean, really, it comes down to if there's good business climate for expanding or doing business. We just opened up in Japan. They're launching literally, I think, this month. And we expect big things from Japan. Our operators also own BNI Japan. So they're very adept at growing a franchise. They have 13,000 people in the BNIs there. It's an amazing chapter. I think they have over 200 chapters. So I think they're going to be able to expand Transworld through Japan pretty readily. I think we just are doing the finishing touches on Vietnam. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that yet. We're getting launched in, continuing the launch in Ireland, continuing the launch in the UAE. And all those markets have certain kind of quirks that we have to get over, whether it's where do you advertise, because, business sale marketplace really kind of almost doesn't exist. So we have to do a lot of creative stuff when we get there.
Switching gears here with Andy Cagnetta, the CEO of Transworld Business Advisors. They are the industry leaders when it comes to helping people buy and sell businesses. Check them out at tworld.com. Andy, this has been one of our most consistent topics over the last few months. Caitlin Clark makes her WNBA debut with the Indiana Fever, and the results have been a bit of a mixed bag so far. She's averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 turnovers, and shooting just 40% from the field. How long do you think it will take Caitlin to really figure things out here in the WNBA?
I don't think it'll take her long. I've watched some of the games, some of the highlights for sure, and I think she looks great. I think she's distributing the ball well. So obviously they're double teaming her at times, which leaves other people open on her team. So I think she's been doing a good job with that. I think they do need to, listen, she's going to be a star, and she already is a star. So I think the WNBA will kind of work to make it a little easier for her to do well too, so on some levels.
Yeah, kind of along those lines. I've seen all these tweets about how Caitlin Clark is getting some rough treatment, and the WNBA players should be taking it easy on her, maybe not so, not hard screens or, again, the double team or whatever, because of, the perks that she's helped bring to the league. She comes in the league gets chartered flights, obviously much more attention in the national media. Should Caitlin Clark's opponents be giving her a little bit more leeway here?
No, they shouldn't. And they were giving her a little bit of a welcome, especially with some of the hard screens. But I think what will happen is she's going to get some of the Jordan treatment. She's going to get some fouls that other people wouldn't get. People are not going to be able to hack a Shaq or hack a Caitlin to kill a Caitlin. I don't know, whatever you want to come up with for a hard fouling, or I think they're going to protect her.
I think it's one of those things where every rookie goes through it. You got to kind of pay your dues, and she might not be getting the calls now, but I think in due time, you fast forward, 12 months, and like you said, I think she's going to be at the free throw line a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
One thing, and we've talked about this before, but it's really wild. The Indiana Fever, 36 of their 40 games are nationally televised. They've almost become Notre Dame of the WNBA, with Notre Dame obviously being on NBC. Any worry about the WNBA putting too many eggs in the Caitlin Clark basket? Obviously, she is your superstar, but at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity to lift the league up, not just one person, and maybe get a little, you don't want to fatigue the audience a little at all.
Right. I think they've been doing a good jould. I think I saw some of their branding calling it the W. I really like that. Right. Yeah. Listen, I think it's good. I think what'll happen is, like when I was growing up, the 72 Dolphins, I was a very young man. The 72 Dolphins had a perfect season. I live in New Jersey. There was a whole cast of Dolphin fans that came out of that era that are still Dolphin fans in the Northeast. And you saw it with the Steelers. So I think what'll happen is they're going to feature Caitlin Clark and maybe even the Fever. All of a sudden, you'll have a bunch of Fever fans that don't even live in Indiana, and I think what you're going to see is they'll start sprinkling in other things. Listen, they're going with the hot hand. They should.
Yes.
They should, they should exploit this as much as they can. And yes, the league, the other players should be very happy to be flying private right now.
Wrapping things up with Andy Cagnetta, the CEO of Transworld Business Advisors. They have helped over 15,000 business owners maximize the value of their company. Learn what they can do for you at tworld.com today. Andy, I want to stick with pro sports here. We can chat about NIL, college athletics next week. But again, got to get to maybe the weirdest story of the year. World golf number one, Scottie Scheffler, was arrested while attempting to drive into Valhalla Golf Club at last weekend's PGA Championship. Scheffler's arraignment on the charges of a second-degree assault of a police officer, which is a felony, as well as third-degree criminal mischief. That's been delayed until June 3rd. Scheffler's attorney, Steve Romines, has said that they plan on pleading not guilty to the charges. Andy, what do you think will be the eventual outcome of the Scottie Scheffler situation?
I think it'll all go away eventually. I mean, I watched the videotape, and the videotape, unfortunately or fortunately, is only of the second half of the whole incident. Scottie seemed generally cooperative through the process. And it sounded like he needed to get through, and he was trying to go around traffic, and somebody directed him or didn't direct him. I mean, it sounds like it was just an unfortunate incident early in the morning, and they got hot at each other, and it's not good. So, I mean, I'm hoping calmer heads prevail, and he does some community service. He comes back and has a meeting with the Boys and Girls Club, and it all goes away.
Andy, you mentioned the possibility of Scottie Scheffler coming back, and I have to think, what's the possibility of the PGA coming back? Because I got to ask, how detrimental is this whole situation when it comes to the relationship between the PGA and Valhalla and Louisville as a city? I mean, Valhalla has hosted the PGA Championship 4 times now. They've hosted the Ryder Cup back in 2008. Is this the last time that Valhalla, and again, more broadly, the city of Louisville, hosts a PGA event?
Well, they're going to definitely have a different conversation before they ever host it there again. I happened to be in Louisville that week, and I left right before that incident. But
they were alibi.
They were coming in. Yeah, they were coming in, and they had that city in tip-top shape. It looked beautiful. It was very nice there. We actually had the International Business Brokers Association. I know, just as important as the Players' Championship. But the city looked spick and span, and everybody was really excited. So, any of those cities, this is, mayors and the tourism boards and the, business community's worst nightmare for something like this to happen. So I think everybody's going to have a little talking to.
Good stuff there. Andy, I will let you go, but as always, appreciate the time. 250 offices worldwide for Transworld, so I know that you are a very busy man. Again, appreciate the insight, the info. Love hearing the big picture from you, and also getting down to the nitty-gritty. looking forward to our next conversation.
Thanks, buddy.